Hey everyone, David C. Anderson here, coming at you from the Knife Center. You know what time it is. The coolest knives that have just hit our shelves are right here in front of me, so let's check them out.
On Thursday.
Yes, indeed, it is Thursday, at least if you're watching this on Thursday.
Assuming I did this right.
Assuming Thomas didn't mess up the scheduling yet again. Sorry for posting our Thursday episode on Friday last week. Anyway, shall we talk about some new knives?
Today.
The first of them is... oh, darn it. All right. I have to own up to this. The first item here
Not my fault.
is a limited edition Benchmade Mini Adira. And unfortunately, while this was in stock when we pulled them for the video, it is sold out now. I'm sorry. So if you don't want to hear me talk about this because it's not available or because it's a Benchmade and you don't like Benchmades, you can skip ahead to the next one. But I'm going to talk about it for just a minute here because they did some neat things to it. First off, the blade is not only upgraded in handle material, yeah, the blade has handle material. The steel is upgraded, but they've also finished it nicer than the standard versions. And that's addressing something that's kind of been a complaint, not necessarily just against Benchmade, but some companies when they do a higher end version will upgrade the material, maybe upgrade the handles and the blade steel, but not do anything kind of extra special. In this case, we have something extra special. First off, well, the steel is Damasteel, Bifrost Damasteel, so it's a powder metal, pattern welded style of steel. They've also crowned the spine ever so slightly on this version here, both on the jimping and on the drop point here. That's not something you see on the standard version. And most effectively, or most usefully, I should say, the edge itself is like, it is mirror polished going on, a lot more finely refined than the standard production Benchmade models. Very cool to see them kind of just taking the extra step to make sure this is a little extra special. The handles are also kind of my favorite part though, even though like the extra bits on the blade that they did to it, I really appreciate the handle. It's actually G10 with a GL Hansen & Son G-Carta inlay. It's not a full Micarta or G-Carta handle. You can see there's a kind of a blue-green or G10 as the base, and slightly letterboxed in from that, you've got the G-Carta. And in this case, it kind of has, let me see if they have an actual name for this pattern. There probably is, but I don't see it on the site, unfortunately. But it's almost a fish-like scale pattern in a way, which really fits the Water series nomenclature of the standard Mini Adira, which, if you're curious, is available for, sorry, standard versions with the injection molded handle is, come on, where is it? Come on, where is it? Come on, website, $230. Sorry about that. Those come with MagnaCut blades and injection molded handles. So the MagnaCut should technically outperform the Damasteel here, but the handles are definitely not as nice. But speaking of those handles, it's cool to see, for me personally, Benchmade working with, you know, GL Hansen for these. I remember when they were kind of just getting started in the industry. They've certainly grown a lot since then, but it's still cool to see Benchmade, who's a big player, kind of playing with a smaller player and a well-respected player in the industry, so I really like that. We've also got a braided lanyard fob here at the back with sealed ends and a matching G-Carta bead on it. Handle on these, I'd say the Mini Adira works better if you've got slightly smaller hands. My slightly larger than average hands don't quite appreciate this beak here at the back, so your mileage will vary, of course, depending on your hand size. But if you can get in there, I can kind of squeeze up in front of it and float my my first two digits there, or thumb and first digit there, and get a better hold on it. But anyway, Benchmade does have a lot of different handle shapes in their lineup for you if you have slightly larger than average hands, if you will. But there you go, check it out. Sorry it's not available. Yeah, mea culpa, as they say. This next knife is available. At least it's available while we're filming this. Hopefully it will still be available when this video goes up, or some of the options will anyway. American Bladeworks, their Model 1. button lock flipper. We've got, these are, actually I think we picked these up at Blade Show for you guys. Let me see. Yep, we did indeed. What we got here is American made, with American Bladeworks. You would expect that. You get it here. 3.2-inch MagnaCut blade. Technically a drop point. It's mostly straight along the spine with just a hint of drop at the tip. You've got the finely milled lines in there. That's part of how they keep their prices a little lower than similarly spec'd competition, because there's less kind of belt finishing or hand finishing going on with the blades themselves. Does provide a little bit of texture there, but not so much that it's really going to hang up cutting. It may affect it a little bit in some particular or highly specific scenarios, but most of the time I don't think it's going to be an issue. Handles are titanium with machined lines, and unlike the Mini Adira, a very neutral handle shape that should work with just about any hand size, especially folks with bigger hands. I can get plenty of girth or plenty of space on that no matter where I want to hold it, which is quite nice. Milled titanium pocket clip, and then of course the button lock, giving you finger safe closing action, just like the Benchmade. And the opening action is pretty nice with those thumb studs. You can also wrist flick it open and closed at will. Very nice. Check it out. All right, let's keep the button pushing action going. Sure, we'll go with that. Reate's latest in their PL series, PL, you can think of it kind of like pivot lock, is the PL-7, and it is a press of the pivot to lock or to unlock the blade. So functionally, or in practice, you use it just like any other button lock, but it is of course its own unique mechanism, and they call it, I think, the pivot lock, hence PL in the series. But you'll find these under the button lock header on our website, of course. 3.5-inch blade, Nitro V steel. Micarta handles are available for about $132. Ultim is also available for the same price, and black blades are available for looks like about $5 more than the Stonewash. Oh, I didn't mention the price on the American Bladeworks, did I? About $349 on this particular knife. Sorry about that. But with the PL series, Reate is kind of bringing things in at a lower price than their normal stuff usually is priced at. Ugh, I didn't like that sentence, but there it is. It's out there. But you still get some interesting touches on this knife that are kind of a nod to what they're known for, which is the real high-end production stuff. Check out the back of the handle right here. Check out that spine. Separate, like this little gap between the two areas of micarta, or between the two sides of micarta, and then a G10 backspacer here. And I can't even locate the screws that are holding the two sides of the handle together, quite honestly. You do have the pivot, and there's got to be something going on underneath the handles here, like when you take one side off. But even that, I'm not sure how they're doing it, because I can see where these screws hit the liner on the inside, so I'm not actually sure what is holding this in place. But it certainly feels very solid. If anyone knows, throw it in the comments, please and thank you. Anyway, you do have this liner here peeking out with some speed holes there, and then you can see it inset there on the inside. Deep carry pocket clip in blue, and you have a secondary safety on the outside if you're a little concerned about rough use on this knife, accidentally pressing that button and disengaging the lock. This secondary lock is a little bit of extra peace of mind. It only works in the open position, however, you can't lock the blade closed if you're thinking you might want to do that. But with this sturdy trailing point shape, it's built for tougher work, but the shape is definitely more akin or more suited to long, efficient slices. I mean, that's all belly. Getting to work all that edge is going to be really nice. But if you really need to beat on the knife, you can do that too. Nitro V is very tough. You've got enough thickness there to maximize that strength, and then you've got the strong pivot-based button lock as well. PL-7. This next knife operates in much the same way, actually. The Corgi V from Vosteed with their Vancor lock, which is a pivot-based button lock system. I don't know what else to call it than that, because there's a few different mechanisms on how these actually work out there nowadays, but they operate like a button lock centered around the pivot. So there you go. as opposed to being a real hard use knife, the Corgi V is more genteel in a way. It's a little more trendy feeling, especially in the shape. I really like the cohesiveness of this redesign. The original Corgi came with a standard button lock, and they were good. I liked them, but this feels like it's worthy of replacing the entire line, honestly. It feels a little bit more cohesive as a design. I love the drop point shape here. There's 3 new versions, or 3 new colorways for this new Corgi V right now. They've all got S35 VN steel, sub 3-inch blade, very pleasing to the eye in its drop point shape, and a very versatile shape too. High flat grind, good cross section of strength and sliciness, not too thick on the blade. Aluminum handles, the Vancor lock. Probably my only quibble or my only gripe with it is it's a single-sided pocket clip. It's not reversible for lefties, even though lefties would be able to use that knife, no problem. It is deep carry though, and it is inset with flush head screws, so it hits all the quote-unquote right marks on that. And I suppose being so symmetrical, left-hand carry, you just have to flip it around. There you go, and flip it open that way. It could still be used, but hey. It also maintains a nice clean milling thing going on the front. Anyway, you've got this color option here, copper dune for the blade. There's also a blue handled version, a kind of seafoam green and satin or stonewashed version, kind of a more like city colors, we'll call them that. But it's really nice. You can definitely get a full feeling grip on it, so you could push it harder if you need to. It's just not as hard use as like the PL-7 feels in the hand. I really, really like this redesign. Now, I've been only using the wheel flipper here on the back. It technically does have a front flipper too. I haven't tried it yet, so this is the first time. Actually feels pretty good. Yeah, not too bad. Check it out, Corgi V. All right, Thomas, tell the people what you just said.
Pebbles, pivot-based button lock system.
You see what I got to deal with, people?
Genius.
Oh, it's the pivot-based button lock system. It's a Pebbles lock.
Pebbles lock.
Why not, people? Why not? I've certainly heard dumber things today. All right, credit where credit's due. That was fun. Shall we move on?
I mean, we name lock systems here, clearly.
Such as the battle lock on this that someone said, the button actuated top liner lock that you see on this new version of the Marten right here, also from Vosteed. Fantastic EDC design. It's a great little shape. Again, similar to the Corgi V, we've got a sub 3-inch blade, 154 cm in this case, and full carbon fiber handles, orange accents, and their take on the compression style lock, which is of course the name compression lock is still owned by Spyderco, even though the patent is now freely available, and they operate it or actuate that top liner lock is what they're calling it with the button right here. So you still have left and right compatibility. You've even got a reversible clip on this one. You've still got finger safe closing action, and you've got really snappy action to go along with it. It's kind of a 3 to 3.5 finger grip for most folks in the standard hold right here. You don't quite have a full finger choil on the front, but you do have some space you could get up there. For me, that's just kind of a fingertip action. If I wanted to be a little more precise, opening a box, getting into the side of something like that, I would do that. But in most cases, yeah, if I wanted a full grip, I would choke up a little bit, do that float with the thumb and forefinger right there. Again, most of your grip comes from the back 2 fingers anyway, so I could definitely push this when needed without being right up on that edge. Anyway, check it out. We've shown the Marten before. There are plenty of versions available. This is just a nice new one. And there's a lot of nice new Vosteeds this week, so I figured I'd include it. Before we get to more of those Vosteeds though, we're gonna pivot from the pivot-based button lock systems and other two, yeah, yours was better.
Yes, it was.
Two small fixed blades. We've got several Vosteeds, but before I show you one of those, I want to show you the Creely Minnow right here. Creely blades made in Pennsylvania, as you can see right there. This is a really interesting handle material here. I'll get to that in just a second though, stick with me. MagnaCut blade, 2.12 inches. Technically that would be a straight clip point there, but it, you know, kind of drop pointy with that, but a long straight section of spine right there. Handles are 3D printed carbon fiber reinforced material. So it's very interesting. I actually don't know too much about it, but it is very lightweight, very strong, and you've got a really nice swell on that. Probably like bigger than I would have thought of putting on a knife this size, but the result is you get a really solid feeling grip on this otherwise small knife. It's not really something I'm gonna be like gorilla gripping and pushing because, you know, you can see I only have like that much to gorilla grip onto, but as a small whittler, it could certainly do the trick. Pairing motions feel pretty good. Yeah, it's a tough little customer, and it is a pocket fixed blade. Comes with a leather sheath, and I do believe there is an ulti-clip included in the box, or in the tube that's over there. Just confirm that real quick. Yes, there is an ulti-clip in there, so you could pocket carry this no problem, or you could throw other attachments on there and carry it on the belt if you wish. Probably goes a little deep. Yeah, it'll go a little deeper and it'll mold on there quite nicely. So check that out. Very cool. MagnaCut steel, of course. Is this our first MagnaCut on the table? No, the American Bladeworks was. MagnaCut is stainless. MagnaCut holds an edge really well, and MagnaCut is very tough. Normally, if you want a very tough steel with very high edge retention, it's not going to be very stainless. So that's what MagnaCut does very well. It brings back the stainlessness. All right, back to the Vosteeds now. The first is the Marmoset. Here it is, a cleaver or sheep's foot style small fixed blade, 2.2 inches long for that blade steel, and it's 14C28N, which is nice and tough as well. We had Nitro V earlier. It is a similar steel to Nitro V in that it is a very tough stainless, holds an edge decently, but nothing like, you know, MagnaCut. It is a non-particle steel after all. But the geometry is nice. We're nice and thin. We've got a high flat grind, jimping all along the spine, so you've got plenty of traction no matter which grip you're using the blade in, whether it's thumb or forefinger, no problem. Blue micarta for this version, but there's a black and a green micarta available. Both of those have black stone-washed blades and different colored accents here for the lanyard tube. This has a nice coppery look to it. $59 for all of these right now. They come with a Kydex sheath. Snaps in quite nicely. It comes with, what are they calling this? They have an actual name for it, a SOAR clip, S-O-A-R. I don't know what it stands for, but it is, I can tell you what it does. It is rotatable. You have to, you know, loosen the little, what is it, T8? Looks like a T8 in there. Loosen that a little bit, and you can pivot this to whatever angle you want it to sit at, so you can have an optimal extraction or resheathing of the blade. And you got that J-style clip or a hook there at the bottom, so it'll go onto a belt really easily, but not come off too easily, but easily enough when you intentionally want to take it off. Easily converted to a pocket carry, I would say too, thanks to the slot and hole arrangement here. So if you're into pocket-sized fixed blades, throw an ulti-clip or something else on there, and you should be well taken care of. The same is going to be true for these next knives. Rather than the kind of utility knife shape, we'll say, of the Marmoset, these next knives, called the Quokka, have, you know, a Bowie-style clip point, we'll say. Clip point blades. There's two versions of them, one with and one without the ring. And there are a few different handle flavors and blade flavors available with each of these two configurations. They're all $59 though. No extra charge for the extra metal of the ring, basically. Same steel, 14C28N. We're about 2 3/4 of an inch. Stone washed finish, of course, on this one. Green micarta handles. Really nice for delicate grips. You've got a nice bevel at the front of the handle scales here, so you can pinch really nicely. You can get out there on the fingertip jimping on the clip point itself. That's really nice. And then, of course, you've got the jimping here at the back for your thumb. Now, it's basically... it's either a 2-finger grip, if you don't want to use the unguarded finger choil here at the front, or it's a 3-finger grip. And depending on your finger size, mine rests a little bit on the larger size. Be careful of that back edge when you hold it like so. But it's a great small utility blade, essentially. And again, same thing going on with the sheath. You've got the soar clip and kydex, and easily converted to pocket carry. Would also make a decent neck knife. I'd say the Marmoset sheath is better suited to neck carry because you've got two rivets there at the top, so it's less likely to twist around on you. The Quokkas, you only have one, so it'll still work, but you just have to deal with a little bit of twisting going on. I like the oversized hardware affixing these handles to the knife. But like I said, a little bit of a smaller grip on this one. If you want more grip, go with the ringed version. And I'm kind of thinking of this as, like, the reason for the ring is to extend the grip. I don't actually feel like putting a finger through the ring really makes much sense here because it is still pretty small. I'll show you what I mean. You know, using the finger choil there, I do have all 4 fingers on, all 4 fingers are holding knife at this point. So you do get a little bit more. The Gorilla Grip works a little bit better because I can, anchor this between my last 2 fingers and get that push if I need to. But, if you're throwing your pinky in there, you can see the size of my hands. I'm definitely hitting edge there. And if you're holding it in a reverse style grip, where the way you would traditionally hold a Karambit, I think you're also going to be right up there on that edge. And even if you're not, if you actually strike anything with it, the chances of slipping forward on that, I'm not too keen on the way that works out in practice. But think of it as extra handle to hold on to, and that's it. And I think you'll be satisfied with it. Next up, and I'm going out of order here because why wouldn't I show the 2 ringed knives next to each other, right? The Fullback from Vosteed. This, use the ring with a finger in it all day, every day. I think this is a far more suitable design for that type of use. It's also definitely more full size. We've got, for $79, we've got a 3.5-inch Nitro V blade. Again, real similar to 14C28N. Thin enough for great slicing, high flat grind to back that up, but it's definitely going to be durable thanks to the toughness of that steel and it not being whisper thin, of course. Micarta for the handles, black in this case. There's also a stonewash blade option with green micarta, and you can use the ring or not, but you actually can, I think, effectively use the ring. Standard hold here, aces. I like it a lot. Very utilitarian shape, very nimble feel. It's not too heavy. What are we dealing with here? About 3.4 ounces for a 3.5-inch blade, fixed blade. That's pretty cool. If you wanted to use the ring and use this to kind of flex into a tactical roll, it does the standard Karambit style grip a lot better thanks to the finger ring there, and importantly a finger guard at the front to protect you from sliding forward on to that edge. I like this one a lot, actually. Kydex sheath, orange on one side, black on the other. Soar clip, so you can make it work any way you wish. If you wanted to throw something like a tech lock on there, no problem, of course, thanks to the hole and slot pattern going on. I like that a lot, actually. Next up, we have the H-Back. If this was the Fullback, this is the H-Gap. More of a straightforward small fixed blade knife. $69, 3-inch blade, 14C28N steel, clip point shape going on. Again, not too thick, not too thin, full flat grind for great slicing. Handle's quite nice for small utility work and could push a little harder. I wouldn't want to like carve with this for hours like a bushcraft knife, but this could definitely handle some heavier cuts without chewing up your hand too bad. And I like the bevel at the front again for those pinch grips. That's going to be quite nice. Several flavors are available. Take your pick. Sheath is Kydex. This one is color matched. I'm not sure if they're all color matched. Let's see if I can find out real quick. No, they're not all color matched, but this one is color matched on the front, black on the back, soar clip. Again, versatile mounting holes and slots on the side to accommodate whatever you like. But that should make a really cool small utility blade. All right, the next theme we're gonna look at after our pebbly locks at the front, our small fixed blades, is slip joints. But we're gonna start with a knife that's not a slip joint, but it's from someone who's well known or perhaps primarily known for the slip joints, and that would be Jack Wolf knives. This here is their kind of first modern design. They've done locking folders before, but they've all been based on classic or vintage slip joint patterns. This is their first all modern. It's the first collaboration. This is actually with Chris Ortiz, Cerberus Knives, to bring you the Tango. And the reason for the name, he's saying it takes two to tango and it takes two to collaborate. So that is where that comes from. There's a bunch of handle versions. This is a Kieranite option. We've also got a few left right now of this KnifeCenter exclusive version with gold anodized crystallized titanium. So that kind of flaky texture, that flaky look, is not a surface treatment. That's actually the matrix of the titanium itself has been altered to have that kind of iridescent, sparkly quality to it. And then the gold on black always looks good. About $350 for all of these, actually, no matter which version you're looking at. We've got S90V blade steel, just a bit over that 3-inch mark. So you've got fantastic edge retention and stainless qualities in this blade. Compound ground drop point, hollow grind at the back, flat at the front for a little more stability, but you still do have a very thin tip for nice acute piercing needs. We've also got a milled pocket clip here on the back and the full same inlay material on the back as well, so you get the full effect, and a bolster style frame lock as well. So you've got the lockup of a frame lock. A nice action with these thumb studs too. There is technically a front flipper on there, and I have yet to try it. All right, this is not a front flipper that gets along with me. There we go, got it. Not the easiest. I'm gonna go with the thumb studs because that pops open really, really nicely. Quality is top notch. It still comes with the custom artwork and aluminum tube that all of their releases come with. You can check them out while they're still available. And these are the first, the way they kind of do their knife releases is they'll release a model and then it might be a while before they make it again. And when they do make it again, it might be a little bit different. So this, however, is the first of several upcoming outside collaborations that Jack Wolf is going to be doing. So keep an eye out. There's going to be some cool stuff, I'm sure. Now onto the actual slip joints. GiantMouse, the Jutland slip joint right here. Previously, this was a slightly larger flipper knife with like a 3.35-inch blade. This is scaled down to about 2.65 and rendered as a slip joint as well. S90V on this, just like the Jack Wolf, meaning great edge retention, very stainless, tough enough for a pocket knife, especially a slip joint, but it's not a super crazy tough steel, of course. But definitely on a lighter use slip joint, you've got all the toughness you're gonna need. Nice aggressive clip point shape, full flat grind, titanium handles on this one. Brass is also available if you like that. $245 for titanium, $225 for the brass. Comes with a deep carry pocket clip, wire, technically almost deep carry, but wraparound wire, right side only, however, so not a reversible thing. Now the nail nick for opening this blade is way back by the pivot here, and that is gonna make it a little bit tougher to open than if you were able to grip it further out on the blade. Keep that in mind, but it is a very cool shape. The quality, of course, as with all GiantMouse knives, is pretty impeccable. Italian made on this one, overall just feels superb. Next up, Tactile Knife Company has expanded the Ranger series in collaboration with Jared Oser with a new blade shape. We've got the Wharncliffe blade and a couple different handle options for it at this time. $349. The blade is MagnaCut. It is a little bit on the thicker side here. Titanium handles here with that blade thickness. Despite it being non-locking, this should be abusable. Just make sure you're cutting in the right way so you don't close the blade as you're using it. Westinghouse micarta inlay or shield on the front too. That's always a cool thing. Nice, really nice walk and talk with that half stop. You can just hear the quality of that going on. But anyway, there's two different shield inlays options on this. There's also the original clip point version of this knife, also with a Westinghouse inlay. That one I seem to remember too was a little bit trickier to open or a little bit tougher to open. But this one is certainly quite nice. Techno Carbo or Copper Techno Carbo is the other inlay available on this one, so you can check that out. All right, last slip joint for today. From Piratech, you've got the Slippy, their mag snap slip joint. Here it is, 265. Again, S9DV. Interesting. We're seeing a theme developing perhaps here. It's a great choice for a knife blade. It's an even greater choice for a premium slip joint because you don't need a supreme amount of toughness on a slip joint typically. But we've got a really cool harpoon tipped shape, hollow grind, titanium handles, blue denim inlays on this, and there's more to that in a minute, I'll show you. Not a half stop, but a travel stop along the close. That is its position there. And a nice snap on the close as well. Yeah, real nice. The opening here, you've got two sections of fuller, for lack of a better word here, at the harpoon tip itself. That will kind of behave as your nail nick, and it's a double-sided nail nick, which is also a cool thing. Feels pretty good in the hand, and mag snap, right? That's the name. If you're familiar with Piratech's, their locking folders, you can remove the handles because they're attached magnetically, swap them out for different stuff. The handles themselves here are fixed, but the inlays on this slip joint are removable. And that also reveals kind of the secret weapon or trick feature of this knife. Look at this right here. That's the Piratech Kraken. You can see it's kind of loose. There's also 3 holes here. You can actually adjust the tension of the slip joint by simply pulling that out and moving it. Now I have tried it in the foremost position, and it's a nail breaker at that point. I can't really get it open comfortably, but you can move it back to the rear position for an easier opening time. Take your pick. Options are optional. Options are available. That's pretty cool, and gives a good reason to have that going on. Now, I think there's kind of 2 primary reasons you might want to adjust the tension there. One, you can just fine tune it to the way you like, which is cool. The other is, if you've got someone in your household, like little kids' hands that you don't want opening the pocket knife, you can make it more difficult for them. Think of these things. I'm a dad now. Anyway, that's pretty cool. Pretty cool feature. 2.81 inches on the blade. I don't know if I mentioned that. $265 for the price right now. All right, a few more things. Gotta keep going, keep rolling. This is a circle, the circle from Fox Knives, a new series of cigar cutters from them that feel fantastic. Now these are definitely, well, especially this one, a more premium feeling thing, and they're not cheap. This one is coming in a little bit over $300 right now. The least expensive version with, polished blades and just a black aluminum handle, about $123. So still not a low-end item, but you can pay about almost 1/3 of what this one is if you don't want to spend this much. Several different versions are available right now, about 9 different ones. There's some titanium inlaid versions, there's various wood inlays, a few different carbon fiber ones. Come on, that's just super satisfying. Also comes with a clipped leather pouch for it. Don't necessarily think you would carry this on a belt. Maybe this would take up a pocket or clip somewhere else, but you've got that to go along with it. Also from Fox, I think the thing they're most famous for is their Karambits. Like this FX599 right here. They've got a ton of great variants in this series. It's relatively affordable. You've got great quality. You've got longevity. I mean, this series has been around, and they've recently introduced some aluminum handled options with this engraving. This is the Storm pattern, but we've got a bunch of new ones that you could take a look at right now. This is just the one that appealed to me the most. And the price on this one is about $173. Other flavors are available. Standard price or lowest price of the 599 in general is about $148 and some change, or $144 for a trainer. But the new engraved versions all start around that $173, which is not too bad. Steel is N690, blade is just over 2.5 inches long. You've got a liner lock for security, and you've got a secondary push lock to prevent that liner lock from being disengaged if you don't want it to be. Again, made for actual Karambit use. So standard Karambit grip, which is an invert or a reverse grip for other knives, works very well. For opening the knife, you've got a couple options. You've got the flipper tab, needs a little bit of wrist to effectuate it, but it's a Karambit with a wave style opener with that pocket deployer hook right there. Draw it from your pocket, make sure you hit the hem on your way out, and it will open the blade as you draw it, meaning it's super quick. A couple more tactical things to wind things up. The RMJ Tactical Dvalinn. This is a collaboration with Vosteed blades. It's always fun to say. And this is a compact stainless hatchet. Nitro V steel here. Seen that a bunch today, which is a good choice for an impact tool, again, because it is tough. Toughness is very important on this type of thing. Multiple sharpened edges here, including on the inside of the beard. So this point at the bottom makes a very aggressive point. You've also got the tip at the back also being very aggressive for that spike. You've even got a chisel, or not a chisel, but a pry bar at the end. Don't do it like this. Put the sheath on it when you do that. It's Kydex. It works well. It's right there. It holds onto the hatchet really, really nicely. But yeah, it's a small stainless close quarters combat hatchet. A few different handle or finishes can be had. I like this one, which is why I showed it to you. G10 for the handles, fluted for grip. Feels nice. And last but not least, I said tactical, but this is not really marketed as tactical, actually. Halfbreed blades may be known for their tactical stuff, but they call this the large bush fixed blade right here. It is chonky, it is tough, it is made to be kind of that indestructible thing. The blade stock is quite thick. It's, what was that, about 1/4 inch? What exactly are, yep, exactly 1/4 inch. Ha 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 ha, very nice. With a Teflon finish on the blade, which reduces friction quite nicely when you're slicing through things. G10 for the handles, a bit on the blocky side, but fills the hand nicely. You've got a bow drill divot on each side. Again, that's something you want to use when it is in the sheath. Don't hold the blade and use this as your bearing block for a bow drill fire. You've also got, I really like this execution actually, a small ferro rod here, and the handle is another bit of Kydex that actually matches up with the holder on it. I think that's pretty cool. How about you? Thomas, you don't care, but I like it. Two dot style Molly clips on the back. Actually, the box is buried over there. They usually include a bunch of different attachments. Thomas, do you remember? Because you unpacked this one.
Yeah, it's a tech lock style.
Tech lock style thing in there as well. Very nice. That's going to allow you to get, different orientations, horizontal or vertical primarily, that you can carry the sheath or the knife with that way. What more do you want? What haven't we said? Oh, I haven't really said all the specs yet. $350, almost 6 inches long, K340 steel. So that's a very tough tool steel. It's a little bit stainless. It's got some chromium in it, but not really enough to reach what we consider like a true stainless steel. That said, you've got this Teflon coating in here, so you're not really gonna have to worry about rust just at the edge, but you're gonna be sharpening and maintaining that edge anyway, right? Right? Right. Edge itself is a short hollow grind, actually. So you got full thickness, apart from the fuller, for most of the tall blade right here. Thickness behind the edge is going to be relatively thin, but abruptly getting to the meaty bits of that. So skinning, probably not too bad. Longer slices, not so much. Batoning, yeah, the edge you know, might have to be a little more careful of it, but you do have full thickness at the top for splitting things. But just with that hollow grind, it'd be a little more intentional maybe about where I split things. Don't go running it straight through a hard knot. At least I wouldn't want to do that. At the end here, it looks like we have a small scraper for the fire steel. Let me see, that should, if they were smart, it would match up to the diameter of the provided fire steel. And indeed it does. That's really nice. So that's a crisp enough edge there. It should throw sparks off that fire steel quite nicely. Survival knife features such as the 2 holes at the top means you could turn this into a spear. Not that I usually recommend that for in a true survival scenario, because you don't want to lose your knife after all. But you could do that, especially if you needed to hack some higher stuff up that's out of reach. You can extend your reach that way. Choke up with the unguarded finger choil. It's a very generous choil, which is nice. So I'm a little further away from the edge, which is nice in a survival situation. But again, be careful if you're in a survival situation. Don't take unnecessary risks. Anyway, that's all we have for now, folks. Let me know what you thought in the comments. What were your favorites? And if you want to get your hands on any of them, check out the links in the description. While you're over there at the Knife Center, don't forget about our long-running Knife Rewards program or our Sezzle payment options if you want to make some of these more expensive knives a bit more manageable to purchase. I'm David C. Anderson from the Knife Center, and that's Thomas behind the camera. We're signing off. See you next time.